Hello, everyone. This is Cody Lee of BlackCatBooks.org, author of I, the Dragon, Cruel and Beautiful, Rabbit Hole, King Dio, and the upcoming Lauren Frey. Lately, I've been spending a little bit of time browsing the Antiwork subreddit. I've actually been meaning to talk about this for a while. I was going to go over some of the common arguments. I was going to talk about the culture as a whole. I was going to talk about the movement, my thoughts on it. And it's a lot more nuanced than you might expect. Because I think a lot of people feel as if the left and right are completely divided on certain issues, that people can't agree on anything, depending on if they happen to be on opposite sides of the political spectrum. But there are moments when I'm browsing Antiwork where I'm kind of yeah, I do kind of agree with that. But on the flip side, there are also plenty of times, the vast majority of the time, I'm saying no, this is ridiculous. This is your fault. Take responsibility for your own actions. Get a better job. There is a certain aspect to anti-work that I do kind of respect, in the sense that I do feel as if the working class in America are abused and tossed aside by corrupt corporate structures. I have been part of that. I have suffered from it. I have had issues with certain people in certain spheres. It's something I understand and have experience with very, very well. And it's something that does need to change. However, the thing I noticed when I was part of that situation is that I came into it with a plan. I came into it with an idea of where I wanted to be in the next 2 to 5 years. And within a year and a half, I was out. I would have been out in less time than that if I had more of an opportunity. I actually did leave at a rather inopportune time for me personally. I probably should have gone on for a full 2 years. But I went ahead, did what I had to do, specifically increase my pay scale, right? I specifically wanted more experience so I could increase my income, and then I used that as leverage to get a comfier job somewhere else. That's kind of how I did it. And then of course I'm also doing the writing stuff and online, building my online business, my online presence, and from there I plan to retire from work entirely in the next couple of years. Definitely I think at this rate within the next decade. And of course entering millionaire status in the next 30 years. Again, I'm still I'm still learning and improving and doing a lot of things to improve my personal situation, because I understand my situation is very, very much unlike, I think, the vast majority of people in the world. I doubt anyone is in the situation I'm in with with just the surprising income and just the ways I can make money and just dedicate. I don't feel as if most people are in my position with my background, my mental shortcomings, disabilities, and those specific problems. I don't think most people are in that sphere. However, the thing about anti-work that I really don't respect, and I think this needs to be stated more and more and more, is that Antiwork is fundamentally a communist organization. Essentially what they want is they want to be given more money for doing absolutely nothing. Someone like me will spend their entire personal lives outside of work, building up skills, acquiring experience, forming connections with other people, trying to put themselves out there, pitching ideas, building businesses, applying for new jobs, and investing, doing all this stuff that you should be doing when people on Antiwork, the vast majority of them, I don't want to say all of them, because of course I'm speaking for the general. It's an entire subreddit. I don't think it would be fair to label them as all being like this. I'd say like all of them have made very, very poor financial decisions throughout their lives. Now they'll try and deny it. They'll try to say that like, oh, I haven't bought an iPhone in 5 years. I don't buy new cars, but they are doing something. Whether it's like buying houses that are too expensive for them, living in like expensive cities, or like taking on student debts that they can't possibly pay back. There's something holding them back. I find it very difficult to believe that people making like more than $15 an hour, let's be generous. Actually, I've personally gotten by on significantly less than that. But anyone making more than $15 an hour is in any way struggling, or would be in any way struggling if they had budgeted correctly and lived within their means. That's kind of what I've observed, like observing the people around me. Like everyone's driving in these ridiculously expensive cars. I was talking a little bit earlier, like in another video. I think it was a stream where I was talking about like my experience with DoorDash drivers and how they are the scum of the earth. You can just kind of tell just by interacting with them and how they act, and just that they're like the sort of people who spend all of their money, all of their income on like these high-end vehicles that just aren't going to last more than a decade, and they're just going to end up getting bored of them and replacing them and not being able to really accumulate any money. And of course, like DoorDash doesn't bring all that much anyway. It's interesting. I mean, I mentioned before how I have worked minimum wage jobs, and I've seen people working there driving in like rather high end vehicles that they couldn't possibly pay for, and then they get repossessed, and then they cry about it, and then they have to kind of rethink their lives a little bit. Usually, I think they just get another vehicle somehow through some means, and then kind of just repeat the process. They don't learn anything. Like they don't learn to take responsibility. In fact, they resent the very thought of it. Honestly, they do everything possible to skate by as easily and conflict free as possible. They don't really challenge themselves. They don't acquire new skills. They don't learn. They don't get an education. They don't put themselves out there. They don't want to be successful enough. It's what I'm saying. And I don't think there's anything inherently wrong with that. Not really. But when it comes to especially people on like the lower income end, if you're like living in poverty, if you're having like personal problems with like medical problems, or family trouble, or like living situations, like you really should be working. You really should be committing yourself to improving your life situation. I know, because I was in that situation and worked my way out of it. Like I said, like working was absolutely the primary thing that got me out of that situation. I deeply, deeply value it. I deeply, deeply value what my employer did for me by simply having me around, right? I deeply, deeply appreciate that. And I don't see enough people really looking at it the way I do, in that like there's nothing inherently wrong with working. Again, like there's a problem with like people respecting you in the workplace. There's a problem with there are problems everywhere you go, right? Like people talk about like management, like in certain areas, like not being very good. I have a lot of experience with that. Like people don't get trained. It's hard to kind of move up in the ranks, but you really shouldn't need that, honestly. Like, you really should be focusing on, like, doing what you want to do, kind of finding your own way in life, and kind of finding what you yourself want. Because I can tell you for a fact that, like, the things I do, with the writing career and, like, my job, like, it's not something that most people would want or even take, like, when desperate. But I am living my ideal life right now. It may not seem like it if I'm talking about. It may not seem like it sometimes because I'm always talking about like, yeah, I need to make more money to like invest, but I really am. I am, for the first time in my life, I feel as if I am exactly where I need to be right now. Like I'm not anxious about the future. I'm not like fretting over the past. I'm not like traumatized. Like I am like very, very much in the moment and doing everything I possibly can to kind of to steadily, I don't want to say like rapidly, steadily over time, improve my situation, improve my quality of life, build up my wealth, and accumulate wealth, and continue expanding into new and interesting things. I am looking into. I am like planning new books. I am planning new ideas. I'm like always learning. Looking into learning how to code recently. I want to like really, really improve the website so it's really, really interesting and fun to use. I want to do a lot more than what I've been doing, and in a lot of ways, I never expected like to find work so fulfilling, because it is a lot of work. It does take a lot of time, but I do value it. I do enjoy it. I do enjoy what I do, and not just like the stuff I do in my free time, right? Not just the writing and stuff like that. Like I do enjoy my regular job too. I think the people there are great. I'm very attached to them, and honestly, I never thought I would say this. I think I'm going to be sad when I inevitably retire. I do. I really like everyone there. I think they did a lot for me, and I hope I've done a lot for them. I mean, I doubt it, but I really feel as if I'm well on the fast track to. I'm well on my way to becoming truly, truly successful. I'm about average now, but I will become like upper middle class and upper class in the next couple of years. And I am super, super excited about that, the possibilities, the potential. And when it comes to like anti-workers, when it comes to the subreddit, they need to understand that fast food is not a career. Like retail is not a career. YouTubing is not a career. Sex work is not a career. Like you're not doing anything really of value. You need to like really put yourself out there and acquire new skills and try to do more things with your life, and then you will start seeing things get better for you. Not financially. That's another thing I wanted to bring up, is that like I was actually. I noticed that when I sort of moved on from my toxic living and working situation, even when I was like dead broke, when like 2018, when I had absolutely nothing, like even back then, I was like happier than ever because I was like kind of doing the thing I wanted to do. And I'm always seeing that with anti-workers, is that like, oh yeah, I'd be fine if I was paid more. Or if I was just rich, I would be happy. No, I don't think so. I really don't think so. I know plenty of people who make significantly more than me that are completely miserable. YouTubers, I think, are the obvious example. But I grew up around a lot of children of millionaires. I know how those people turned out, and they don't seem to be doing all that well because they've spent their entire lives partying and not really doing anything with their lives, and now they're just shallow, vapid people. They have nothing going for them. Funnily enough, like without cultivating work, without discipline, they really have nothing going on other than like drinking and like maybe watching Netflix. Like they're losers. Funnily enough, that people only associate with due to their money. That's what it comes down to. Like people don't actually like being around them. So that's kind of my take on it. Is there is a problem with workplace culture. I've talked numerous times about like how women don't belong in the workforce. If you're a woman, just leave. Like that's kind of my stance on it. Like women shouldn't be in management positions. There are problems with management. There are problems with how things are structured, how much they expect you to work on occasion. The last job I had, I was working 7 days a week. There's a reason I'm still very salty about that. Uh, there are problems with things like that, but the thing is, um, with the way things are set up, you can easily leave. Like, all you have to do is just put yourself in a situation where you don't necessarily need to work that toxic job and kind of like just find something better for you, even if it pays a little bit less, and kind of just stay there and let yourself be comfortable. Like with what you're doing. But you do this idea that like, oh man, I don't want to work at all. That like it's not worth anything. No, it just is not true. There is value in working, not just for your employer, but for yourself.